All right, all right, all right. What's up, everyone? This is your girl, Saint Wind. I may be your friend, I may be your foe. I don't know. But all I know is that I have another awesome guest to introduce you all to. Their name is John, and I met him on, well, not met him, but I got introduced to him via TikTok. And I just want John to go ahead and just introduce himself, and we'll start talking and just have a great time.
All right, thanks for the introduction. Hey everyone, I'm John. I am from Maryland, born and raised, but I'm currently living in Washington State. I am Latino. I'm a content creator, an educator, and a lifelong student.
Yes. Okay. So I'm so excited just to have a conversation with you, John. As I was saying, just offline, that I've been fangirling over you for a while, and your TikTok and your transitions. I was just like, you better get it. So I'm so thankful for you spending some time with me. How are you doing? How was your day, and how are you feeling today?
Oh, great question. I'm doing today is such a good day. The sun is out. I just cleaned my house a little bit. I meditated. I stretched. I went out last night, so I enjoyed that social aspect of life, and then came back home early and got to sleep in. So I am feeling recharged and pretty excited. Yeah.
Yes, that's good. I'm same. I went out. I turned up on in the town. I'm from the south, so I'm from Tennessee, and so I was turning up out on the streets. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm here and I'm ready.
Yes. Yes.
um,
Love it.
well, I just want to kind of give everyone just a little bit of backstory. Well, I kind of already said it, but it's not like we got a long history. But uh, I first saw John on TikTok, and he had these incredible transitions, very, very theatrical, and I just loved him. I ate him up like it was just delicious dessert. And then he started. And then you started following me back, and I was like, yes. And then then I hit you up on Instagram, just asking you just if you wanted to be on the podcast because I enjoyed your vulnerability on TikTok and just how open you were, and I really just wanted to kind of discuss with you just like. Well, everything, because I feel like we could chat about everything. But I definitely want
Exactly.
to just
Yeah.
get like just kind of get some background. Like, how did you start with your content creation, and just what are your hopes and aspirations? Are you trying to get like just by being out there on TikTok?
Yeah. So I mean, it really just started like how everyone else does when they made fun of it when it during the pandemic. That pandemic's like that's like the TikTok's trying to be the new Vine or whatever. And
Right.
so like I downloaded it because I was just curious. And man, let me tell you, I got so hooked. I would be up till 4 a.m. watching everyone create content and laughing my ass off
Yeah.
at these videos. And then it just like I was like, I love making people laugh. Let me just dabble in that. And what's interesting about TikTok, there's a huge learning curve.
Mm.
And there's a lot of people that I want everyone to just post because you will get there because it's like once you kind of just get really comfortable just knowing how the features of TikTok work and just keep producing content, you start focusing and channeling where you're gonna end up going. And so it's just really about just continually posting. And when you mentioned that whole vulnerability thing, I find it that I feel like vulnerability is very powerful because a lot of people, especially in my experience, we're about to go on a tangent, you guys. Like in my experience,
Yes.
that a lot of men and a lot of people of color, and maybe even men and people of color, like that particular group, don't show enough vulnerability, and I
Mhm.
feel like that just needs to be more normalized. I don't know.
Oh, I
So
yes. Go
yeah,
ahead. So.
so I just been posting, and once I found transitions, because before it was my FYP was all comedy and stuff. Once I found transitions, I was like, how do you do that? Like how I asked myself, like that's why I said I'm a lifelong learner or a lifelong student, because I want to learn how to do things. And so I was like, let me try that, and I just kept trying and trying and trying, and it started flowing. And so I was like, oh my gosh, now let me just start pouring stories into these things because I just want people to connect with me. And also, if you have, that experience too or a similar experience, I want both of us to release it, like let it go.
Yeah, and that's why I like because I really was attracted to your vulnerability, especially as a POC, because one, I feel like we're just now, like as like people of color, really getting into the, or at least we're talking about it like on in a more public spectrum when it comes to like getting therapy or that I'm not feeling good today.
Yeah.
And I love that because I remember like just seeing just your videos, just with you doing your transitions, and then you had one where you just like, I'm not doing good today, and I'm just like, yes, like I love that because you said, like you said, it's a powerful thing to share, and like some people can take advantage of it, but I think with TikTok, it kind of weirdly depends on who you're around. It creates a safe space where you can just be like who you want to be and who you are.
Yes, safe space is so important. That's literally in my bio. I say this is my safe space to heal, to
Right.
post, to create. So yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's lovely. I love the creativity. Well, because you kind of already mentioned just like that, the how the vulnerability and mental health. So can you you talked about how like and during the pandemic, can you talk about like how did the pandemic affect you? Especially I know in Washington. Were you in Washington when the pandemic first hit?
Yes, I was in Washington, but I've been here for maybe like 4 or 5 years already.
Mhm.
And let's see how the pandemic kind of affected me. I mean, just like employment wise, I mean, I still had my position, but in the rest, I also so I work in the public school education system. I
Oh,
also
awesome.
kind of like bartend and serve on the side, and then I go to school, and then I create these videos. And so the pandemic kind of influenced the restaurant business for sure.
Hmm.
Staffing in the public school system was influenced too, with people getting sick and stuff. So I definitely felt that aspect of it, and so all that definitely piles up and hits your mental health, and especially with the gyms being closed, you don't get that physical release anymore, and so it was all piling up. So I definitely felt a lot of things, and my earlier posts were definitely like darker and heavier for sure.
I know because 2020 was a dark and heavy time. It was.
Yes.
Ooh, it was rough. It was rough. Okay, so I didn't know that you were like in the education system. Like, so how long you been doing that?
For maybe for a really long time. I mean, I went to school for that
Okay.
earlier on when I was younger, and so I have a degree in that. So I use that degree. So that's also rare to have a degree that you also use, um,
For
because I
real.
have I have multiple different degrees, and so I only use one of them. So that's interesting.
Ma-
And I'm also going to school for something completely different. I'm also going to school for software development. So there's that.
okay. So are you a teacher or do you do just like administrator or something like that?
For this particular role, I'm an education specialist, so I focus in a smaller group setting and a lot of one-on-one support.
Oh, that's real cool. I
Yeah,
like that. Well, do you have to do you with your sorry, like this is a tangent, so
let's do it.
okay. So with the education background, do you find yourself like kind of implementing your like content creation, like kind of like because kids love freaking TikTok. So do you get a chance to maybe like help them with their technological TikTokness, or do they help you?
And let's see. Well, we do have that because I work with a little bit on the younger spectrum. We
Ah,
do we do talk about TikTok, but
TikTok.
TikTok, because it's so mainstream, it's so in the public eye,
Mhm.
and so the youth know about it, right? And they
Right.
watch it. And what's interesting is so it's relevant to them, and that's a good way for me to stay connected with them,
Mhm.
and kind of like because I tell them I am not cool, you guys. I'm so not cool, and they are the cool students right there. I was never that cool in elementary school, so
Oh
and
man.
I'm just like, what's the new trend? What's that funny new thing that you guys are talking about? When they're doing the sheesh like all over the school, and I just laugh about it. I was like, hey, I saw that on TikTok. So it's a great way to build that rapport and connection because in schools it's really about having that positive staff to student relationship. It really
Mhm.
just gets students to want to be in school.
That's so cool. That she's thing is so funny to me. I'm like, I hung out with some teenagers and I was like, I'm gonna be the most uncool person, but they made me feel real cool. And I was like, am I accepted? I don't know. I was like, am I cool now? That's pretty cool, man. I love that because you seem like you just have so many like I completely like felt you when you talk about the multiple degrees and you're not using them, but at least you're using one. Uh, did you have like that the time where you felt I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, but I keep this in. Well, I was talking about just how you have so many like um different backgrounds, and so what kind of drew you to going into the computer science aspect of it?
Actually, one of my close friends is really into it,
Mhm.
and it was kind of a way. It was like, I kind of want to like dabble into it too, because then it creates that again, that positive relationship where we have something to talk about, something to share, something to experience together.
Mm,
So that's what I like to do, and that's also kind of how I found the TikTok because the person that introduced me to it is a content producer of some sorts and dabbles in all that kind of like artistry. And I was like, oh, this could be a great way for me to also have something to like connect with and just strengthen our relationship. And so I was like, oh, let me download this app because they're into that whole social media aspect, and I really wasn't at
okay, cool. I like that because I like the fact that it seems like you're working, you're good with like you're willing to transition or to, just kind of go with the flow with how life is kind of leading you when it comes to like your career paths. Because I feel like after the pandemic, we just kind of have to live and just kind of figure out what's good for us, regardless of what we think society wants from us.
the time. Right. Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Right. Well, let's kind of go back into like 2020 and just because I know I feel like that's like the most for our generation. Can I ask how old you are? I forgot to ask that if you don't mind.
No, yeah, 31.
Okay, so you were about in the same generation. So we are kind of like more millennial, Gen Z, whatever. I can't remember. But
Yeah. Right there, right on that, that cusp between like both, like that. Yeah.
exactly, because you look like you're about 26. I was like, I don't know. When you're a person
Thanks.
of color, yes, honey. When you're a person of color, you could be anywhere between 25 and 52. You don't know.
You don't know, yeah. True, true.
Like we looking good in our 30s. So like okay, so going back into 2020, just like so with the pandemic, like let's talk about mental health because again, I know good God, mental health was just that was the thing that just I feel like people just like I need to grab on to this because I am about to lose all of my control. So, what are some of the things that you do now that you maybe didn't do before 2020 that kept you centered, that kept you grounded, and into the person that you are right now?
Oh my gosh, that is an amazing question. I love that question because I'm still trying to develop those positive habits. But reflecting on back then and now, like I have a space where, I have my yoga mat laid out.
Mhm.
I have those crystals and all that stuff, and I try to, I push myself to, sit down and reflect, sit down and meditate, sit down and just pause, being mindful, like have those mindful moments, just
Mhm.
because there is so much happening around you that you're really just absorbing and processing everything even if you're not aware of it, right?
Mhm.
And so there's so much going on that you really need to take a moment to just stop, sit back, and just pause because you need that breath, you need that moment.
Oh, definitely. I'm trying to get into yoga. I know like the hardest thing I find to do is to be silent because I wake up and I'm just
Hmm.
like I want all the noise. But I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to like do little small pockets of silence and working my way up. And I found that to be really, really like precious in a way. Like you're just like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you because I as a person who identifies as non-binary, just I'm trying to ask this without sounding completely ignorant and
No, ask it. Ask it. There, it's a safe space. Ask it.
okay. Okay, well, how does that work? I'm sorry.
No,
How
yeah, that's a good question.
okay, well, cuz like I feel like cuz in my generation cuz I was raised with like older parents, and they were like male and female, da 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 da. But I'm just really interested in the non-binary aspect of just really not choosing, because I have a background in anthropology and psychology, so I firmly believe that gender and race are completely made up objects.
Mm,
They're
mm.
not real. We created those in order to compartmentalize people into boxes and to figure out
Yes,
where
social
people.
contract.
Right. So can you give me just some, why do you identify as, if I hope this is okay, I'm sorry. Why do you identify as non-binary? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, that's. Thank you for asking. Actually haven't had not a lot of opportunity to talk about that,
Okay.
and just to clear the air, I am not an expert on this type of thing,
Hmm.
but just from my experience, especially with having TikTok and when I was so before TikTok, I didn't even, think about that, you know, men can wear makeup and it can be super accepting and like you can and I've been around those communities and pockets of communities where people are doing that, where people
Hmm.
that may look a certain gender are doing that. And and those are on like maybe a Friday night. But to see it constantly, like on my FYP
Hmm.
or on Instagram, and to see it so normalized and so positively received, it's like it opened up some things in my mind because I don't necessarily feel like like a man, or the stereotypical types or the social constructs, I should say, of
Hmm.
what a man is supposed to be in America, because different cultures have different types of expectations and roles. And
Right.
I'm just like, so then who am I? And it really shattered my identity, because if I don't identify with this that the society is telling me to be, then am I anything at all? And if I'm
Mhm.
not, if I don't identify with the full feminine aspect, I had nowhere to be. And then I was like, wait, there's a space for me where I don't have to be either, or I could be both. And it's just like that non-binary path where it's like I can play around with makeup, I can wear more feminine attire, or I can be even more hyper masculine, and it's still all part of me, right?
Mhm.
Or I can just be none of it. I can wear things that are very neutral, and it's still all me. And so I just really resonated with the idea of, and I've only recently changed my pronouns, but like with the they them aspect and the non-binary kind of aspect of it.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. And thank you so much and for explaining it, because I think that's something, especially in the people in, like, as a person of color, I feel like a lot of our culture is so tied to what, like, what women do and what men do, especially like
Yeah.
in Latino communities. I know, like, the machismo, and with
Yes.
black communities you have to be bad and big and bold, and like people are so scared of softness. And my theory is that one, I don't know if it's just America or really just maybe, I don't know, very patriarchal countries, they don't really like women, or they don't like the aspects of femininity. They talk down of it. And
Yeah.
so I find that to be like, I love kind of like the rebellion. I'm starting to really like appreciate the rebellion of like status quo stuff. Like, I
Hmm.
love the fact that you can, like, I love seeing men in skirts sometimes. I'm like, okay, you better rock that skirt, boy. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's people being themselves and they're embracing all aspects of themselves. And I think it's just, wonderful. And I think it was just getting to the point where people can just calm the hell down and just like let people live. Like, why, and I think maybe like people feel like it's a rejection of femininity. And like, if you're rejecting this, then what am I? I'm like, you? So I think that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And I was like
Yeah.
really nervous because I've never met anyone who I've only met one other person in just in Tennessee that identifies as non-binary. So I was like, can I ask all the questions?
Yeah. Ask away. I mean, it's all a new experience for me as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Well, can I ask that, like, how is that how does it help? Do you find yourself when you started to identify as non-binary, did it help with mental health? Like, kind of figuring out, like, I don't have to fit into a box, or did you find any hookups with it, hangups with it when you were working with your mental health?
No, I think it definitely helped. with my mental health because yeah, I didn't have to fit in a box. I didn't have to fit into a specific role. I just got to experiment with who I am and just kind of fall in love with that. So I really feel like that did really um, heal parts of me that were struggling.
Mm. That's cute. That's beautiful. And I love how you talked about just go back. You said you like crystals. I said me too. I got my rose quartz and my amethyst and my tiger's eyes usually around me at all times.
Oh, I love tiger eyes. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring it out for you even more, just to think about John. Be like, this is John's favorite. Okay, and just one other question, and just and we'll whatever we'll just talk anyway. So with that, like, so we mental health side of things. How is it culturally? Like, I know you just kind of started identifying. Like, how do you feel about that when embracing yourself, like in within the Latino community as a person who identifies non-binary as a non-binary person?
Let's see. Well, currently where I'm living, uh, it's more so not very diverse at the moment. There's a specific predominant race that lives in this area,
Mhm.
if you know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have the opportunities to experience being around maybe Latino or Black communities
Mhm.
and talk about this kind of stuff.
Oh.
When I visit my family, I still kind of hear and see like very traditional concepts of gender roles, and that kind of like bugs me a little bit. But I can't. Um, I don't want to disrespect my family. Like I love my family, so there's
Mhm.
certain things that you can do and can't do, and it's really about just like um, being being that role model, being practicing what you want to preach, and so that people can resonate with it. Even family members can see how that really has helped you.
Mhm.
So just embracing it and practicing it, so that you know whoever you are, wherever you are, your family sees how powerful it's become for you,
Mhm.
how healing it's become for you, because they just want to see you happy. So at the end of the day, you don't have to give a lecture. You just have to practice it and just show how it's just benefiting you.
Right. And it's kind of like it sounds like you with you talking about like you making sure just to respect your family. It's still just respecting their boundaries as well and letting them come to their own,
Let
let
it.
them come into it easily instead of like,
Yes,
we're gonna do
yes.
this. That's awesome. That's great. Because I feel like
There's
boundaries. Oh, go ahead.
no. I was gonna say there's no. To me, I don't feel like there's no progress in forcing things to happen. You really have to let it naturally develop.
True. I agree. I agree. So just to kind of get, well, I don't know. I'm trying. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm trying to be more linear, but my brain does not work that way. I am
No,
so,
let's go all over the place. I have my notes. I have your questions. Like I'm ready to go. Let's just
okay,
spitball
awesome.
here.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. I'm trying to be a little bit more calmer. But if you listen to any of my little podcast, where I'm just talking to myself, I am all over the place. So I'm glad I got a kindred spirit. So tell me, just how are you feeling? I know we talked about mentally. So how are you feeling, like spiritually or and emotionally? What would you classify yourself as, like right now?
Right now, let's see. Spiritually, I have been feeling very much lighter. And feeling very connected to things. Like I just meditated in my little space over there in the back room, and it was really weird because I was just like, reflecting and manifesting and like, saying these things out loud, like, saying that I am a content creator, I am a writer, I am this, I am that, putting that out there because words have power, and like
Hmm.
words are spells. So if you're saying something over and over again out loud, you're really asking for that, right? So
Hmm.
if you switch the narrative, if you change that language, you're really trying to bring in that particular new thing you're trying to manifest. So spiritually, I feel a lot more connected. I'm constantly seeing synchronized numbers and repetitive numbers everywhere I go. So that kind of like freaks me out. It's always like 111 when I check my phone, or it's like 1212 when I look at this or look at that. And it's like, oh my God, like what's happening?
You be like,
So
okay,
spiritually, I
universe.
feel amazing. Yeah, okay, universe, I get it. I see the signs. All right, I'm accepting it. Let's go. And it
Okay.
was really weird because I was meditating, and then like I took a breath, and the curtains around me like fluttered forward as if the room was breathing with me, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening here? So,
Oh,
and this was right before the podcast too, and I was like, oh my gosh, all right, this is awesome, this is
yay!
great, I'm ready.
Yay! The universe gave you a sign that this is gonna be great.
Yeah. Um,
Amazing.
which is so interesting because emotionally, I feel things very intensely and very fully.
Mhm,
And so I'm a bit, and I'm an empath, so I feel a lot of people's other feelings as well. And
mhm,
so personally, emotionally, I'm very drained and very exhausted. But
mhm.
that's something that I'm working on to build those barriers where I can know what you're feeling, but I don't have to feel it with you, right? So like I
Right.
can
Mm.
sense when a friend is anxious or upset, and then I kind of absorb that myself, and then I feel that, and then now we're just in a room and we're both anxious and we're both upset, and it's just like what I don't want is that, right? What I want is to know what you're feeling, and then so I could be empathetic with you, and then find a way to help you process through that, right?
Oh,
So
I love that. I've never thought about that because I too feel very empathetic when I'm around people. So how did you kind of learn how to create like a boundary emotionally when people are feeling so, because I'm still working through that because I take on people's emotions real quick.
same, me too.
Yeah.
Same, like, and when I'm in a room, and especially with a lot of people, I'll start feeling everyone's emotions. The thing to just practice, and I'm still a newbie at it, but practicing when you feel, you can almost feel that switch. Like when you have your own feeling that you're feeling, and then you walk in a room, and then all of a sudden it kind of changes, or you start noticing your behavior, or you like start emulating someone else's mannerisms. You have to stop and think like,
Mhm.
are these my feelings? Or is this are these are these mine? Right? Reflect
Mm.
and hold on. Ask that question to yourself: is this my feeling, or is this someone else's feeling? And then reflect on that. And if it's yours, own it. If it's not, then figure out what you can do to be like, okay, I need to pause, I need to reflect, and then I need to, you know, change what's going on, right?
Right, right. I'm gonna have to make sure I practice that because, yeah, because I know last night I was out and about and I just like I kept going outside because I was like I'm hot, but I felt overwhelmed because I'm an extrovert, but it was still just so much
Same.
going on. When's your birthday? I need to make sure. I feel like we
Oh,
kindred.
December 17th, Sagittarius.
I love a Sagittarius. Y'all,
Fire sign.
yes, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm just like yeah, I always get along with a Sagittarius. I was like, we feel real kindred right now, boo boo. We need to be friends. Okay, well, that's awesome. All right, so Sagittarius. So, okay, emotionally drained, spiritually wonderful. Now, kind of going back just into TikTok creation, and with
Yeah.
you being, even though like as a non-binary person, but you were male presenting, did you have a lot of men coming in like who felt comfortable kind of expressing things to you just because you were so so like it, I know it's not easy, but you were able to actually like show who you are. Did you have a lot of people reaching out to you and being like, I love the fact that you were open and vulnerable?
Kind of yes and no. I would say because I do check my analytics on TikTok and Instagram.
Hmm.
Most of my followers and engagement are from women, and it's predominantly kind of like, well, because of the majority of the population, predominantly um, women that of non-color, and then I have women of color, and then I have a mix of like LGBT community
Hmm.
and people that identify on that spectrum, and then just a small portion of like maybe um, straight cis males, right?
Hmm.
And so I do have males of all spectrums that identify in every aspect message me, and they'll just. I had one person that I know personally in my past.
Hmm.
Because I used to work with them, they messaged me and they had said, "You got to stop posting all the sad stuff. I'm crying way too much." And I'm just like, that's in my head. I was like, that's good. People need that emotional release. There's so much tension in the world right now. So
Hmm.
much tension. People will need a way to release it, and you could release it in the privacy of your room. You don't have to tell me that you cried to my video, but I'm going to pour a very emotional video on in my channel
Hmm.
because like I need that release. And if you happen to release as well, then we just release and just we heal together.
Right. Because I feel like we get so caught up on like with social media, everything having to be posted. But no, you could literally just cry in your bedroom and just be okay. Just cry.
Yeah.
Eat both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing I worry about men in general, just because I'm like, y'all can have emotions now. Like, come on. But I feel
You
like
can
it's
cry in
just,
private.
yeah, just cry in private. Or if you just need a friend, just, hey, bro, oh, I don't know if that's any possible, but I'm like, sometimes you might need to find a fellow crying friend and just cry on some
Yeah.
shit. Okay, that's pretty cool. I just like you. You're so cool.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I tend to say what's on my mind a lot, and then because, like you
I
said,
do.
I
I do
feel
too.
I feel like you said, words mean things, and so I feel like we should just, whenever we have it on our heart, we might as well say it because you don't know when you might need to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. I've had people message me saying, your video got me through my day, or I needed that one post that you did, or like you just motivated me. And it's not me. I say that to other people.
Mhm.
One person I follow on Instagram, she does a lot of like fitness coaching and inspiring posts. And I'm just like, you got me to the gym today, and I needed you to know that. Like,
Mhm.
and maybe we're not besties and we don't live in the same city, but I know you, and I've known of you, and I need you to know that your post got me to the gym today, so thank you. And that kind of stuff is empowering because that allows that creator to know that their stuff is reaching out to people that need it. And so it's really important for you guys, for everyone, viewers, listeners, to go out and tell these creators what they did for you, because you really you continue that chain of creativity. You're part of
Mhm.
that creativity cycle.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because I just sometimes I just love to just heap praise, or just like you said, admiration, and just be like, hey, you're doing a great job. And that's why we're on these apps, right? Just to have,
Yeah.
the connectivity, but also, let's be real, we're human, and having a little validation that we're doing something right is nothing wrong with it.
Oh my god, yeah, I love all the validation I'm getting on TikTok and
I
Instagram.
know,
But
right?
thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for all the positivity. I don't think I've ever had one negative comment as of late. I'm gonna knock on wood. I think I had one person just say they went out of the way to say to one of my videos, and I was like, that's not that bad, right? I didn't get
Right.
called anything mean. Like, I tried to win them with kindness. I went to their page and showered their page. They ended up blocking me. I was like, okay,
That,
obviously we're not going to connect, and that's fine. But everyone else has been so positive, so kind, so appreciative, and I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that's following me, because you guys are my rock. So I appreciate
well, yeah, because I'm one of those people. I'm like, yeah, get it.
it.
Okay, that is so awesome. All right, so tell me, let's go into something a little fun.
Yeah,
What,
let's do it.
what are we watching on Netflix or any streaming app?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I got that question. I got this question down. So currently, I strongly, strongly recommend, but this is not a show for kids. But Human Resources on Netflix. It's the branch off from the oh my god, Big Mouth. It's the branch
Yes.
off from Big Mouth, and let me tell you, I am hooked. First episode, I was just like jaw dropped. They're shattering every Netflix is shattering every kind of like expectation, rule, and societal norms with the show, because they're really pushing the boundary
Mm-hmm.
on these types of shows, especially Big Mouth and Human Resources, which I love, because I think it's important for that stuff to be said, because there's a lot of filtering and censoring in our society, and that could really kind of cut off a lot of creativity that could happen in the world. So I really like how Netflix is trying to push the boundaries with those two types of shows. So Human Resources, definitely.
Yes,
It's
honey.
something I'm watching.
Yeah. Okay. You finished it, or you still like in the middle of it?
I'm like almost done with it. I'm like on like episode 8 or 9, and it's just so good. And I'll probably finish it this weekend for sure.
Okay, because I didn't like Big Mouth at first, because like you said, it was pushing those boundaries that I was like, oh, this is kind of uncomfortable. But then I watched the episode. I don't know which episode. My cousin was telling me about it. She's like, but it's just so reminiscent of how you felt as a kid. And I started watching it, and I was like, oh, I love this show. I love the show now. And I've binge watched the whole series of Human Resources. So it's like, this
Yes,
is so good. And because at first I was like,
so
oh, they're
good.
being very crass. But then again, that was I guess my boundaries being pushed. And then after that first episode, the second episode was so good. And it got
Mhm.
even better. And I found
Yep.
myself just like, why I relate with every single story. Like the
Yes.
are you
The
on the grief sweater yet? I don't know which
the
episode. The
I just saw Light, where the love bug fall. Oh, I don't want to reveal any spoilers, but anyway,
spoiler,
where the love
spoiler
bug
alert.
has her side story of experiences, and it's like there was like a
Okay.
hot mess of an issue. Um,
With Janelle Monáe being the voice of the character. Love her.
oh my God, is that really the voice of the character? That makes me love it even more.
I love
Are you
Janelle Monáe.
serious?
Yes, that is
Because
her because
I have been Make Me Feel. I'm pretty sure that's what the song is called. It's
yes.
been on repeat for me like forever, and I have this vision of this TikTok video I want to do where I'm covered in gold flakes and these contacts, and it's like that's just the way you make me transition into this look, and it's just like gold everywhere. I'm like glowing, like I don't know. I'm just ready to make that video ASAP.
Please, because I'm gonna tap that motherfucker. Because
Oh
first
my gosh.
because Janelle Monae's her what was it Dirty Computer album was chef's kiss. Like I felt like it was actually like her being her when she finally came out as pansexual, and she's just like I love everybody, and I was like you better get it. And that whole album and visual album is just the best. But yeah, that's her in that she's the doula. So
Oh, okay. That's good
yeah,
to know. I like
yeah.
that. Yes.
Well, when you get to the grief sweater episode, I cried. I'm not.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
ready
going
for it. I'm ready for that emotional release.
okay, yeah, because I was like, boo hoo. And I love that it's like we're finally getting to the aspect of television that seems like it's kind of talking to our inner children that need to feel
Mm-hmm.
things, because
Exactly.
like all our television has been like hold it in or don't express this or don't kiss a guy or a girl or don't do this. Like but now we're just like be good person and do what you want, just be a good person. And I'm so glad you said human resources. I literally almost jumped out of my seat when you said that. Okay, so what else is there? Anything else that's just that you're loving right now?
Oh my gosh, I'm loving two more shows. Emily in Paris is
Okay.
amazing. Mostly because I wish I was her because I've also been to Paris for like a study abroad experience,
Oh,
and now I'm just like pretending to just like daydream. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have some coffee at the cafe in Paris and just like walk down the road and just bump into somebody's man and just fall in love with them and just create all this drama. But that person is my best friend and just like oh my god, I would love that's just like a great story right there.
I'm gonna watch that just because you said it, because I've been like everybody talks about it, but I've never watched it. But I love like shows where the girl goes off into the world and try to figures it out and falls in love, and I love romanticizing my life now. Like that's what
Yeah,
I love about TikTok, like the whole like idea of like I'm romanticizing my life, be it normal or luxury. I'm going to romanticize the
yeah.
fuck out of it. I love it. Okay, sorry.
I, it's a great show for content producers and content creators because she's a social media marketer, so you can kind of see the aspect of like what life could be like if you really push yourself in that kind of pathway, and just like all the kind of tips and tricks that she does. And it's a very modern type of role, so I think a lot of people can connect with that. So I really like that show.
Okay, all right. I will put it in the queue. The
And
queue.
then the last one I'm watching, or I finished watching as well, was Midnight Gospel.
Oh, never heard of that.
That is, oh my gosh, that is an amazing show. It's a very trippy show. And what's interesting, I had to watch it twice because the animation, it's an animated show, but it's a podcast. So it's people talking about real world concepts like maybe life and death, love, um, different types of dynamics and relationships. And so it's a podcast that's happening separately, but it's an animated show. And so the voices of the podcast are being presented by these characters, and it's just a trippy, wild show with wild animations. Like it's like you're on something when you're watching it, right?
Mm,
So I had to watch it twice because I'm watching it for the appreciation of the animation, but I also wanted to watch it for the appreciation of the podcast, like of the conversations they're having, because it's really intense, real conversations. You're just like, wow, like the first episode, you're just like, oh my god,
I'm gonna have to look that up. Where can you
yeah.
find it? I'm
Netflix. That one's also on Netflix.
okay. Free publication, publication, free pub for Netflix.
I know, free shout out to Netflix. I mean, Netflix, my channel, you could always just like, drop a little verified comment right there too if you guys want.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna. I'll make sure we like when you do your just the make me feel video. We're gonna like Netflix. We got this off of Human Resources. Go ahead and
I know that's what sparked it back up because
get
I
the
did
money.
that song "Make Me Feel" during Black History Month, and I was telling everyone, I tagged about like I think 30 creators of color
Hmm.
on my pinned comment, and the message was that please, instead of like going to my page, please go to these pages, um, so to kind of promote and push content from creators of color that identify or are black.
Oh, look at you! Look
So
at
that was
you, Alan.
well, that was the least I can do because having the schedule that I have, I can't just go and like, I can't just go and do a
Like,
march or go and donate like thousands of dollars to this organization because I ain't balling yet. Yes is the key
right?
word. So I can only do the piece that I can do in this this
Mhm.
big world. So that's what I try to do.
Hey, that's better than something, better than nothing. Because I know, like, some people just don't do anything. So that's, I feel like we get caught up in trying to be like do the biggest things, but I'm like the small things count too.
Yes,
Hmm.
exactly.
And little things add up to big things.
That's
Yep.
true.
Okay. Okay. So on to the next question. What is your love language, my love?
So I kind of knew a little bit of it, and then I had to just do a little quiz a couple days ago just to confirm it.
Oh.
But so I got acts of service and receiving gifts
Oh.
are my love
Okay.
languages.
Okay.
And then the little message that I got from the end of the quiz, and like it's just a random quiz online, but it did
I
it
love
did
this.
it did resonate with me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this quiz a little credit. But it said when others serve you out of love, not out of obligation, you truly feel valued and loved. And I was like, oh my god, I love that. That is totally me.
I was like, you see me.
Yeah, like you see me and
Mhm.
you want to get you want to give me things, shower me with things, or you just want to just like the term they use is serve you out of love and not out of obligation. So I love that, and it's like that's what makes you feel valued and loved. It's like, oh,
That's
thank you.
true. That's true. Because I know I had this, I was trying to figure out how to like phrase this because I had this conversation with a friend of mine. Because I find that my love languages, I speak a lot to my friends. And so romantic relationships, I'm still struggling, but just how to speak those or get those spoken to me or accepted, I don't know. So how do you like, I'm still working on trying to get this question right. I'm going to figure it
Yeah.
out. But do you find yourself having a difficult time even in like your relationships or friendships trying to get
Uh,
people to speak your love language to you? Like,
Oh yes, I, I do and I don't because it really is about communication, right? I
mhm,
need to tell that person what my love language is and not just hope they figure it out or assume. So
right.
that's my issue where I forget to communicate that, and it's like so I forget to do that. Some people can naturally figure it out, and those are the relationships that I thrive in, whether it's friendships, platonic, emotional relationships, all those kinds of relationships. I thrive in those relationships where they have either a similar love language or they get it right. They can pick up
Hmm.
on it real quick. And those relationships I don't thrive in, it's where either I forget to kind of communicate that like, hey, this is how I accept love. This is how I receive love. This is how I show love. So please understand that and please try to accept that, or try
Hmm.
to accommodate to that kind of thing.
Right. Again, it's just like it's amazing how the simple things in life can be boiled down to two things: communication and setting those boundaries. Like, please don't look
Yes.
at me today. Okay. Well, I want to kind of go back into just the mental health aspect of like finding how you've been grounding yourself. So, what are some of the things that you learned in your healing process that just completely like blew your socks off?
What are some things that I learned in my healing process that I guess this is a good and a bad thing to have to reflect on, but I think through the healing process of everything, And it's a combination of who I surrounded myself with at the
Mhm.
time, growing up and just being raised, and my experience in the East Coast, my experience in the West Coast. But I think for a long time, um, through my healing, I discovered that I think I was a very toxic person, and I don't like that about myself. And that's
Mm.
not to say like, and I need to understand, and I need to tell myself that I'm flawed and I'm not perfect, and I need to accept the fact that I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to have those experiences where I acted out of emotion and not logic.
Mhm.
And so, like going through the healing process, I need to accept what's happened and move on and learn from it so I don't repeat those things. And then realizing who I surrounded myself at the time, what were they like? Because we really emulate our environment. We really kind of like mimic what's going on around us, and we kind of accept what we hear very frequently. And a lot of my life has changed into this more positive aspect. It's because I've surrounded myself with positive people, especially on TikTok. All
Mhm.
these people are so kind, so generous, so positive, and my life has started becoming that, manifesting into that role, right? And then I reflect back into my life, like in the East Coast, maybe, or even right when I moved here in Spokane. I surrounded myself with people that may have also needed time to work on themselves and also focus a lot on the negative aspect on things, the critical aspect of things, the judgmental aspect of things. And I absorbed that, and I acted on those things too because that's what I was around.
Mhm.
Right. So it really is my responsibility to choose who I want around my life and to choose how I want to act. So that's also a part on me. So yeah, I've kind of discovered that I was toxic in the past, and I'm really trying to break away from that kind of image of what I was.
I could not even picture you being toxic whatsoever, but that's just proves it. You just you emanate a lot of light just even through the screen and just talking to you. So that's beautiful that you can recognize that, and also and change, because some I feel like some people don't believe that they could change, or that a lot of stuff is a choice. Like I believe that nature can create, like you said, the people that you're around, the environments created the level of toxicity, but you can change those aspects by getting out of those toxic kind
Yeah,
of environments.
getting out of those toxic relationships.
Listen, everybody, you can choose your environments. We're
You
not
can.
held to.
You're not.
Okay. So, what are some of the things that you're kind of looking for with, like, what's your goals with TikToking and being having a platform? What are some of the things that you hope to achieve with having this platform that you're growing?
Oh, that's such a great question because I'm still trying to figure that out as well. What's
Let's talk
interesting is
about it. Let's discuss.
yeah, let it all come out naturally because I might discover something new about myself when I have these conversations. So I love when people ask this kinds of stuff because I rarely get a chance to say it out loud because I never know what I might say. Because when I was live the other day, someone had just asked me a similar question, and then I came to the realization that I would love to create content for others, um, and have them post it on their channels and give me a shout out and give me recognition on their platform. But how do I do that? Because I'm here in a specific location with very limited equipment and resources. Um, so how do I get to that goal, right? So I started because I love making people laugh, and then I found transitions and I got hooked on that. And then I love the aspect of being able to say a story and heal a bit of myself while entertaining others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, I would love there to be a way where I can just create create daily and very often for myself and for others, and have that be a very let's see, have that have be a good source of financial income as well, so that
Hmm.
I could also survive and pay my bills.
Right.
Um, so I don't know where it's gonna lead me. I just started continued posting, and I discovered new ways of editing because I just love to watch and learn. Because
Hmm.
I need to see it. I need to see it happen, see it done, so I can create it. Right? You can't just tell me this is how you do this and then expect me to do it. I don't learn that way. I need to. That's why I like to save the videos and watch it over and over to see like, okay, how can I create that video but with my own flavor to it? With my
Yeah.
own style.
Yeah, because I'm
I don't
still
know.
trying to, I feel very nicheless. I'm just like, I just like to respond, or I don't know. I completely understand. Like, it's like, but that's the best part though about like social media and TikTok is trying to figure it out. I was trying
Yeah.
to think, I was like, how can you do that? And I will be down to experiment with that. Whatever you need, I got you. I was like, hmm. But I think that'd be really cool though. Like wherever you can figure it out. I'm still thinking on it. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's
As
interesting you said the
plus,
whole niche thing too.
hmm,
It's interesting that you said the word like you finding your niche because I feel like everyone's so fixated on that. Well, not everyone, but you hear that word so often in many platforms,
yeah,
and it's like that is important because people like consistency, and that has shown on social media to be very successful. But you really also just need to it's your account, it's your platform, so it's your voice, and so you don't have to be boxed down. You can what I'm doing. I have my transitions, and then I throw a little bit of comedy, but I also throw a little bit of me in there too. And
yeah.
so whatever resonates with whoever, that's what I enjoy. So I don't know.
And I do really enjoy when you were like showing just you messing with your roommate.
Oh my god, yeah. They're so mad at me. We're cleaning the house and doing laundry. I was like, you gotta turn everything off. I don't want any noise in the background. I'm about to have this podcast interview.
I love that because I just you're like, shut up. I love you, but shut up. But yeah, I definitely love just getting a bird's eye into who John is, and just you messing with your roommate, and you being just completely silly and fun, and just being again that vulnerable side of showing John without the transition. So I really enjoy that and seeing you just be you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, sorry. I get nervous with compliments sometimes, or just like platitudes. Like, you're so nice. I love it.
That's something I'm also working on, trying to accept positive words of affirmation because
Yeah.
that's not my natural love language. So it makes me cringe, but
Mm,
that's on me, right? Like I have to be like, why am I cringing? Like someone wants to share this kind thing and talk about me in a positive way. I should reflect on that, accept it, and embrace it.
exactly. And because I feel like you mentioned like money and just like you want to be actually be successful. I found it to be so funny how like we get kind of nervous about like success. I don't know if it's like I don't see non people of color or just kind of worried about that. But I always see like people of color like, well, I want to be successful. I want to make money. And I feel like that's just like, why do we get so nervous about that? Like, oh, they people are like, do you expect us to always work for free just to give you all this good ass content?
Right.
Free?
It's yeah, it's not that's a great conversation because I don't hear that enough. Like I don't
Right.
hear it's not normalized to hear a person of color talk about success. At least in my experience in all the channels that I watch, I don't see that enough. Like I have a high school friend that got like is that is in the whole acting thing and started where they were, and now I think they moved to LA and they just have a role and everything like that, and they're a person of color, and on their Facebook I'm just like I needed to see this. Like I need to see that to be normalized. I need to see someone in my age bracket, someone of color, just like doing that thing, going for that thing and doing it. They have like they dropped a YouTube video and it's like a little like a clip of a trailer or like a teaser for a show that they're going to be in, and I'm like, yes, I need to see this often, all the time on my channels. Like, I need that to happen.
I know, I love that because I'm like, let's see it. Because I see people they're when they sell their goods, and they were like, okay, they're selling their goods, but to me, like when you are a content creator, like I haven't even thought of myself as a content creator, and I do a podcast for the last year, but because it's just people were, I don't know if it's like the imposter syndrome. They're scared to just
Oh
put
yes,
that in there. But I'm like, man, let's claim it. Like we could be successful and we can make the money and we can still also be humble. Cause I guess people just equate like money with inflated egos. I'm like, no, I just don't want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. Like you
right.
don't. So why can't we all just embrace it? So, well, congrats to your friend. So, woo, woo.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
you said something that like hit hit me because the whole imposter syndrome thing. Oh
Mm,
my gosh, because I definitely feel that, and I'm not an expert on the definition of that, but when I get those comments and notifications on a video, and then I look back and the video pops up, and so I'm rewatching the videos, like because someone said, "Oh, I love that thing that you did right there. Can you do a tutorial?" And I look back on the video and it's who is this? Like I almost don't recognize who that is, and I know that's me, and I'm just
mhm,
what? Like what? Like,
mhm.
and I almost get shocked. It's like a shock value, right there, because I almost don't recognize myself because I'm really in. I really just like focus on being in that video and putting so much intent on whatever the lyrics are, or whatever the transition is, or whatever the emotion I'm trying to capture, and I almost lose myself in that role.
Mm. And that's exciting because you having kind of like a disassociation, but in a like a
Yeah.
you just like, oh, but that's the person who you are coming out. And I think we get caught up.
Right. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Exactly.
right. And I feel like we get caught up on like we have to be this person, but we're so many people and without the DID, but we're so many things. We can be demure and sexy and we can inhabit multiple personalities without it being considered like a mental disorder. We have, but that's just the real you being reflected. Like some of your traditions, like when you do the transitions, when you do like the scary ones with the blood, I'm just like, ooh, trigger warning. But it's like, but then you have the softness where you're just being just kind of vulnerable and just sweet. And I was like, I love that you can show those sides of you. And those things exist because those are part of who you are. But
Yeah.
I get that. I get that completely. Like I definitely with the podcast that I actually attempted it in 2019 or 16, but then I was like, no one wants to hear me. No one wants to my voice. And also it felt like a lot of work and I was depressed and I just couldn't make myself do it. But not believing in myself, but then 2020 came, you're like, F it, y'all gonna get whoever fuck I need to be
Yes.
to
Yes.
make
Oh my
it.
gosh.
Yeah. Well, so I have maybe because we're hitting about an hour, so I have a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about inner childhood, your childhood self. So, if you could go back in time, and usually I hate time travel questions for people of color because it's not really great to go back in time.
No,
But
it is not. I've had that conversation many times with my non friends of non-color. It's like, oh yeah, there's that famous girl from BuzzFeed video that has her own show now. I forget her
yes,
name. She's a
Quinta.
person of
Oh,
color. Yes, Quinta. Oh my gosh,
yes.
there was a skit that she did with the whole time traveling thing. I think
Mhm,
it was like a BuzzFeed YouTube video, and she's like, yeah, there's no century or time period that would be good for me. And all
mhm.
her friends are like, what? What do you mean?
Oh my gosh, I love that because that's actually when she said that, that made me think about. I was like, yeah, she's right, and that's always like a icebreaker question in corporate America. I'm like, again, as a person of color, as a black woman, not a good time for me.
No, not a good time for me.
Not
Nope.
a good time for me. No, not as a woman and a person of color. We're just the trifecta, baby, or it's double trouble for me. So, but we're not going too far in the past. But if you could just kind of like talk to your younger self, what would be some of the things that you would say to your younger self that you wish that could have been said to you?
Save all my money. Save all my birthday money. All that junk food is not worth it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work all that all from my childhood.
You so silly.
Uh, but no,
Stop
for
eating
real,
cake.
like I think um, I think just like practice self love and know that it is okay not to be okay.
Mhm.
Um, and it's okay not to know who you are at the time. Like, because I did struggle with like coming out and with the whole like the Latino community and being LGBT. Like that wasn't the easiest process of coming out, and so there was a lot of just like struggle with that.
Mhm.
Um, and that definitely affected my mental health at the time. So I definitely think telling my younger self, obviously not trying to mess with the time flow and everything like that. So like in disguise and incognito, like slip a letter, like a secret note, it's like, hey, this is a message from the universe. it's okay not to be okay, and just you're going to discover who you are. All right, so just let it flow. Like I'm just like, ooh, yes. And my younger self is like, I accept this, and I'm gonna be much healthier and happier.
I got you. Cause like the one thing cause like you said, when not to mess up the flow, the quantum physics of it, I appreciate your nerd brain going there because because I think about that because I'm like the people that we are, yes, we had to come through our traumas, but I don't think I would change the person that I am today just because those are what made that's what made us, made us
Yeah, yeah,
creative, made us like, being able to be vulnerable. But I like the fact that you said just a little slick, like just breathe, you could, just to get that inner love because it still will reflect into you and just, make you feel like a better person.
yeah.
Okay, and so my last question that I like to ask, I usually ask about blackness because I'm gonna be honest, I thought you were black, but no offense, I hope that's not offensive.
No, no. I was hoping for you to ask that kind of stuff because I
Hmm.
do get I have the features of looking a very specific way, and so I do
Hmm.
get in this particular city that I'm in, I get a lot of looks. Or if I'm in a store, I feel guilty not buying something
Hmm.
because I get looks, and so I get certain experiences.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, it is what it is. I look a certain way, and it's just it is what it
Right, you're beautiful. Let's just say that. And
is.
so so when did you though, as a person of color, when did you? Because I usually ask this in the form of blackness, but still, when did you fall in love? Because with America, we're taught to assimilate and not really cherish our community as much. I don't know if if you feel the same for as a person, a Latino person, but I feel like as a black person, we're taught to kind of just cherish the Americanness or the whiteness or whatever. But when did you really fall in love, like with yourself as a person of color, with your culture, um, in general, or did you have those struggles?
I did have those feelings, and I struggled with that for a long time. And I would say that not to give a shout out to TikTok because they're not sponsoring this, and I'm not getting paid for them yet. But TikTok did help kind of like discover those parts of me that
Mhm.
I didn't love, and what it was affecting my mental health. Because then I started seeing more creators of color on that app, and I was just starting to see the self love and their struggles and everything, those real world conversations they were having with others. And so that helped me take a step back and reflect on the parts that I didn't love about myself. Like I struggled with, I hated my eyes for a really long time. I wore, and just in my experience, I wore a lot of color contacts because I really didn't like my dark brown eyes. I wanted to have those blue eyes. And blue colored contacts don't necessarily look natural on my skin tone, so I did gray and green and hazel. And I would just love to have colored eyes. But then like with the TikTok, I'm creating videos and having all these positive affirmations about my eyes. I started looking back and I was like, I do love my eyes. Like, they're slightly almond shaped, they're dark brown eyes. Like I love my eyes, and I need to tell myself that more because that's part of who I am. I got those genetics from my family, and I want to embrace
Mm. Well, you do. You look great, honey, doing it. I'll be like, good.
that.
I just really love you. Like, I really love your energy. I'm just so thankful. Like, I'm sorry. I can't help it. I was like, I just want all the great things for you, and I can see it happen.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you're welcome. Like, because you have that consistency, you have, yeah, and that creativity. I'm like, I never see anything like you may like repeat like a costume, but you never do the same thing with it. Like, you know, you full dope.
It's just because I have so many ideas with how my brain works, and
Hmm.
what I have personally and mentally,
Hmm.
what I have. I just my brain just is on rapid fire, and I hear a song and I have a music video idea for it. And then when I go look at the music video like on YouTube, I'm just like, oh, like I wish they had done this with this lyric, or I wish they had done this with this, because it would have just added a whole like extra layer to the song. And the music videos are amazing and produced so amazingly well. I just have all these ideas in my head, and I just don't necessarily have the resources yet to create those ideas.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of limited on to what I can do, but I try to get real creative. And I don't know if you followed me earlier when I had this thing called paper studio productions. So all my props were made out of paper because like I wasn't, I'm not like, I'm not this, famous YouTuber that can have all these have has this excessive means of financial income coming in. So I kind of just had to create, funny ways to just engage the audience, but also like, spark that creativity and challenge myself to get creative.
Right. Well, I'm gonna manifest. Maybe you're gonna be directing some music videos in the future.
Oh, I wish. Oh my
That's
gosh.
so dope.
I
Ooh,
have, yeah, I
that's
have,
maybe what you
go
can do
ahead, go ahead.
with the TikToks. Maybe you can like help people, musicians, make music videos or something.
I know that's like someone had asked me what my niche is, and I was like, really, I would love to. I get so inspired by music that I would love to make music videos. That'd be so cool. I'm hoping I'm making. I don't know if you know if you've been following, but I'm going to recreate the Move video by Doja Cat.
Oh,
So
yes,
I have all the cow
yes.
print that I bought all the cow print that I wanted. Because I go all out for my videos and I pour a
You
lot
do.
of financial income on it. So it's my hobby and I do pour a little bit of money into it. So I'm hoping at some point that I get money out of it as much as I pour into it.
You will.
I have literally a closet full of things that I either may have bought or made, and I'm just like now my closet is overfilled, so I need to stop and start reusing the things that I have because it's getting too much.
Reduce,
But with
reuse.
reuse and reduce, yes. But
Yes.
I am going to try to recreate the Move video because I do love Doja Cat so much, and I have a couple more Doja Cat songs that really hit my core that I
Mhm.
have, and they're going to have some really intense, heavy messages in them
Ooh,
about, just about. One of them is going to be about like drug abuse, but I'm not going to say anything about it. It's just going to be in those transitions and in the
yeah.
lyrics because you have to be careful with TikTok. You can't put a certain phrase or quote or thing on there because it could trigger the algorithm and it can get banned or stuff like that. So I have to play to my strengths, but
Mhm.
still be as creative and still get that message across.
Right, and you still, yeah, you definitely able to do that. Did you watch Euphoria? I feel like, did you do a
I
Euphoria?
I I did do a Euphoria TikTok video. I have not seen the show. I've seen the clips and I've heard the sounds. And can you tell me the name again of that amazing actress that is in Spider Man? Um,
Oh, of course, Zendaya.
yes, Zendaya. Oh my God, I've seen clips. She's amazing,
She's
amazing, and I'm totally fangirling over her. This
yeah.
I don't have that platform to watch it. I don't know anybody that has that platform to watch it, but the TikTok sounds give me so much life.
Man, if I had my, because I don't have my own HBO either, so if I had, I'll definitely give it to you. If I ever get one, I will send you my login so you can watch
Oh my
this
God,
because
thank you. I would so appreciate that.
I will definitely, because I might just do it just for you so you can actually watch it and we can talk about it because that show is, woo, it's like the complete opposite of Big Mouth, but it still hits you it triggers a lot, especially with the drug abuse and just seeing that. I was just like, Zendaya, you deserve all the flowers, all the awards. Give this female a whole
All of it.
forest. Like
Yes.
she's amazing. But because when you said the triggering about the heavy messages, it made me think about Euphoria. But yeah, so I might just do that just for you because that show's so damn good. Anyway. Well, we're about at 70 minutes. I definitely want you to let everybody know where we can go to support you. And
Yeah.
I hate to wrap it up, but I got to. But I definitely love you, everything that you're doing, and I'm putting out in the universe, praying for just abundance and success and just great mental health and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I am accepting it and embracing it, so I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So go ahead and let everybody know where we can find you and how we can support.
So you could find me on TikTok, and so my new TikTok handle, I had to change it, so it's visiting Earth
Mhm.
one, the number one, no spaces or anything like that, so just no caps, just visiting Earth one. And for Instagram, it's peace and focus underscore John, Jon. And what's great, I'm trying to make it so that some of the content is slightly different or deviates a little bit with sound and transitions in both platforms,
Mm-hmm.
just so that I can see what people are engaging with or not. So I'm experimenting a lot on what's happening on both platforms. So I do recommend following both of them, because I'm going to start posting maybe longer videos on one of them and shorter videos on the other, so you can kind of get like a taste of like, if your attention span is short like me, you can watch it on this and just get that fix. Or if you really like to, if you're really engaged in my videos, you can watch the longer version on the other channel.
Ooh, that's a good idea, especially because the
So
dopamine hit is real.
I know. Oh my gosh, yes. Especially when I see like these amazing transitioners and like makeup artists, I'm just like, oh, it hits me so hard, and I'm just like, I need to recreate something out of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can follow me on those. It's the reason why I picked just visiting Earth is because I'm literally just visiting Earth. Everything here is temporary, and we just need to appreciate life in the moment.
I like that. I like that. Oh, and have you ever thought about doing a Patreon? That might be something you could look into.
What is that?
A Patreon is like where you can have people who pay to get like special access to like your videos or something like that.
Oh wow!
So
Oh, I
if
didn't know about that.
yeah, because like Issa Rae, she did Insecure.
Uh huh.
You ever watched the show? Or you might not because you haven't had HBO. But she's one of those people that I've heard Patreon. She started doing that where she would create content like or have like longer versions of content, or she will like, well, if you want early access to the content, you pay like $5 a month, and that help you create kind of get funded from your to create, and people get a little bit more access and a little bit more information about you, and people feel like kind of like closer. So that might be something to look into too.
Patreon. That's awesome. I like that. Yeah, I was thinking once I get to 10K that I might start like a YouTube channel and start putting the longer videos on there and just the shorter videos on TikTok.
hmm But when you do the Patreon, people can pay and see it, but still.
Yeah, I
But
like
yeah,
that. Oh my gosh, yeah.
we gonna get John paid, baby.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. So yeah.
So you can keep buying costumes and putting content out there.
Yeah, I mean it is slowly paying off. Like real quick, like I do have like a couple of like I have this one
Yeah.
like brand is like talking to me, and so like we're talking some. Hopefully, we can create something out of that. And
Ooh.
so you might see them in my video, and I think it's
Okay.
because I did generate like some custom ideas for
hmm
what I want for especially for the mood video. But for the TikTok as well. So I'm hoping all that manifests and just happens, and you guys will see it soon.
Look at it. Look at it. I'm so happy for you. Well, definitely so happy for you. And thank you so much for doing this. I had a great time, and hopefully I can get you back on again when you're like, big and famous with all your followers.
Uh, Thank you. Yeah, I would love to be in season three and just kind of catch up again. That'd be awesome.
Of course, of course. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. And everyone, make sure you go out and support John. They are amazing. Their content is just dope. And like I said, the dopamine hit is real, baby. Like, I just keep going through it.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you
will
so much.
you're very welcome. I'll make sure to link everything in excuse me, link everything below. And also, if anybody has an HBO login that they want to let John watch for you, go ahead and hit him up because he's real. He ain't gonna mess with your algorithm. I promise.
Yeah, I'll trade HBO for Netflix if you guys don't have Netflix.
You better get it in before they change the password property. Well, everybody, this has been Co-Size and Tangents, and this is your girl, Saina Wynn, with John. And as always, I love you, and thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.